All right, guys, it is Marcus here with Realms Gaming and Computing, and we are going to start section 2 of the C++ Master Course, and this section is going to be all about the basic elements of C++. In this first section, we're going to be breaking down some C++ code, and you guys are going to want to have this open in your IDE. So go ahead and open rectangle.cpp, go ahead and build it and run it. And as you guys can see right here, it says program computes the area of and perimeter of a rectangle using predetermined variables, length, width, area, and perimeter. Press any key to close. So this is going to be the basis for what I'm going to use all the examples on. So let's go ahead and hop back into the PowerPoint. So again, this code here, guys, go ahead and gives you this output, and we're kind of going to go through how that works and what every single piece is. So this is the output, and on the output screen I went ahead and labeled the lines, so line 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and to make it easy I went ahead and copied the code. So I matched up the line of code with the line of output so you guys could see how the output varies from the code. But to remind you guys, this is not going to be the actual lines of code. So in our IDE, the actual lines of code that we are looking at specifically just for the output are lines 10, 20, 21, 23, and 23. 22 and 23. And this is important because as you guys can see here, length equals, and we declared the variable and its length here. So you guys can kind of see what the formatting is to output everything. So right here, guys, this is the first line of code that I wrote to output to the screen what was going on. This is an example of a C++ output statement. What is in the white box? It tells the computer to evaluate the expression after the operator, which is going to be, for this case, the operator for output, guys, is going to be this right here, and display onto screen. And again, I tried to highlight everything with the same color. So right here, that is the expression, because it is between the operator and the operator. So this statement has one expression. There can be a few different types of expressions, but the two most common are going to be string and arithmetic. The string one is always going to be in quotation marks. So hello world, this is my first C++ program. You could replace the expression in this line of code and it would output that. Arithmetic is going to be a variable or numbers, right? Length plus width. We had already defined the length to a certain amount and width. So you could just put that in there and it would output that, as we saw in the slide before. With the string variable, it's going to evaluate to self, and the arithmetic is going to evaluate to arithmetic rules. Also, keep this in mind. En, lowercase d, lowercase l, endl, causes the insertion point to move to the beginning of the next line. Let's take a look at the next output line of code. Let's see if you guys can take a minute and tell me how many expressions are in this line of code, as well as what type. Go ahead and pause the video, take a minute. All right, guys, I'll give you guys a minute. So there are two expressions in this line of code. We have a string and an arithmetic, technically, variables. That one is a string, sorry, an identifier. That doesn't mean identifier. It's usually a variable. It's usually an arithmetic, something with arithmetic. I want to also note white space and spaces matter. So spaces must be included in strings to include them in your output. So in these two different lines of code, as you guys can see, one is the proper way with the space, the other one is not. And so basically you guys need to make sure of that because the output is going to differ. The line 20 output is going to be the proper output. the line 21 output is going to not have that space and it's not going to be correct. So make sure when you guys are coding things, you guys look out for that. Also want to go over what return 0 it means. Returns the value of 0 to the OS when the program terminates. What does 0 mean in computer and machine language? Basically off, terminates the program. As we saw with strings and arithmetic, there are two different ways. This line of code is going to go ahead and show you guys that 7 plus 8 equals 7 plus 8, and that output for that is going to look like that. So if you guys can see here, you have the string, which is here, and then you have the arithmetic, which outputs the actual answer. I'm going to go over some more of the coding standards. Sorry, guys, my Husky's wanting lovin's right now. Hi, sweetie. Every C++ file has a main function. It is required. A function is a set of statements whose objective is to accomplish something. This one, there is a typo here. I'll fix that. There should be another parentheses there. I was working on some code for you guys to work on and was modifying this, and I screwed it up. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more lines of code. So int main, that bracket is going to mark the start of the body of the function. That is an operator. That is actually the stream insertion operator. And that marks the end of the body of the function. As we get more in depth with the code, guys, you're going to start seeing more functions, gets much more complex. But for right now, keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and do some practice and problems in the IDE. I am going to have to switch some things over very quickly. We're going to have to not have that be main. We're going to have this be true. This be false. Go ahead and save changes. That's fine. All right. So as you guys see here, this is going to be the coding exercise for this section. It has a bunch of syntax errors, coding errors, and 2 spots where you need to write your own code. So go ahead and pause the video, guys. Go ahead and work on this, and we will come back in a minute, and I will go over everything. All right, guys, before I hop into the code, I did want to say thank you guys for supporting this. I am going to go over the code in depth. In comp sci, we don't really, even at this level in the game, started to look at code, get that coding eye there. There are going to be some variables that you guys aren't going to know what data type it is yet. That is fine. Don't need to know that for this exercise. But later in this section, I am going to go over those. So let's go ahead and hop back into the code. Let me see if I can actually zoom. I should be able to zoom in more somehow. Whatever. So right here, we're going to go through line by code. That line looks good. int5, that looks good. inty equals -6. Well, right here, and the IDE will tell you, so try not to look at that, but it will give you a little bracket if you are writing. So right here, guys, let's change it to a semicolon. Done. Line 7. Nope. Double alpha, good. String, good. Double Charlie right here. There needs to be a semicolon. Right here, what function are we doing? It's going to be main. So we needed to add something there. Right here at line 13, there was no std. And then it says fix me, code needs to have spaces and a new line at the end of this output. So we fixed the first part. So to add spaces between the variables, we're going to add another output. To do a space, guys, just do that. And just come down here again, caret, space. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other operator, std, endl. There we go. Calculate alpha. So again, what is it saying right here? It is saying, oh, look, there is a syntax error. There needs to be the operator there. Calculate Charlie, write both the equation and the output statement for Charlie. And any equation will do. Oops. I cannot type today. So basically, you're just going to take the variables above, and you're going to set the variable Charlie down here to whatever you guys want. This could be, this could be x plus y, minus z, and you could put all of those. Like I said, guys, if you're watching this, you should know some basic math. Let's go ahead and times that by alpha, and then to output to the screen. Always make sure with an end line, and your guys' code would technically go here, so we'll just replace that. And then output to screen name, variable name, both with string and the variable. So this is something we're going to touch on later, but this variable right here, std string name, the name variable name is literally name, equals. So what we're going to do is we're going to do both ways. So we're going to do std count, and we're going to say C++ Masterclass as a string, and space print name as a variable. All right, so that being said and done, build your solution, save it. If you guys look, these turned green. Those were the changes we made. Go ahead and go to the debugger and right here. So as you guys can see right here, 5, we made all the corrections, -6. It does all the calculations, and that is it. So this file will actually be made available to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and undo everything because I want you guys to be able to go in here and fix everything. And this will also be in the Google Drive link, so feel free to check that out. And that is going to be it for this video. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these between 12 and 20 minutes. And up next is going to be section 2.2. We're going to go into more memory allocation, some variable typing, some syntax stuff. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will go ahead and catch you guys next time.